friends, and welcome to another episode of Dark Side of the Word, a weekly podcast for all the dark story lovers, creatives, and artists out there. My name is Kait, and I am here with my upbeat co-host, CJ.
Hello, everybody.
I did it!
You did it. You remembered the name of our podcast and my name and your own name. Congratulations. What a way to bring season 2 wrapping up to a close.
Yes, listeners, we had to repeat the intro. Just, to keep it real here, to keep it transparent. Yeah.
Yep, that's what happened. That's okay. We only had to do it once, though. Sometimes we do it more than once. So I'm proud it was only one time we had to redo it.
Let's not refer to season 1, okay? All right, it is the second Thursday of the month, which means it is time to do our content recap. We've weeded out the bad from the good so that you don't have to.
Yay! I know, that was lackluster.
Remember I gave you the word upbeat? Let's earn your words.
And it's funny because I actually really am excited to talk to you about all the things that I'm going to recommend today. So I am actually very excited about this. But I just heard a weird noise and it scared me. But I realized it's my husband coming home. But I was distracted because I forgot that he was out. So all is calm, all is bright. We can continue going forward with our content recap. Woo!
Woo! And not to help with the mood either, but you kind of look like you're in your PJs. You look too cozy.
I am very cozy. It is the cozy season, my friend. This is the season that I live for. From now until April, I'm just all about the cozy vibes.
I know.
This is an actual shirt though. It's not a PJ shirt.
I hate you because we're not dying over here anymore, but I'm still wearing shorts.
Well, it's supposed to be 80 degrees tomorrow, so
Ooh.
I know, and it's just not cool. But breaking news: we have seen our first snowbirds, which are actually called dark-eyed juncos, but we call them snowbirds up here because usually within 2 weeks we'll have our first snow after seeing them. So I saw them a couple days ago. Yeah.
2 weeks you might have snow.
Yeah, and it's not big snow, just a little snow. So it's going to get colder. The snowbirds are here. They're going to be very confused tomorrow, but they're here. They're squawking. They're eating the birdseed in my yard. It's coming. It's coming. Hang on, New Jersey.
I used to see snow in November.
Yeah. I saw that Vermont had snow because I follow 3 or 4 Vermont Instagram accounts. And they had snow the other night, and it was a good amount of snow too. It wasn't a dusting for early whatever it was, October, November. It was snow. There'd be snow.
Snow before Thanksgiving is just weird for me.
Right. It is. It's very weird to me. We had snow on Thanksgiving once. That was a confusing day. I don't know.
We're just pre-running Christmas feasts. It's fine. Well, if we have people stuck in snow, it is time to give them content to consume.
Yes. Oh, that was a lovely segue.
A snow day.
Yes, you can spend it at home reading books, watching shows, watching movies, all that good stuff.
So, CJ, would you like to kick it off and tell us what you've read the past 30 days?
Okay, so I have been still blazing through my horror books that I wanted to read in October, and I actually deviated from my list because I found this awesome bookstore and they had a really good horror selection. And
they, huh?
And I ended up getting 2 books that I did not plan on getting, so I have deviated a little bit, but I've been having such good reads lately. So the 2 I'm going to talk about, one is from my list and one is not from my list. The first one that is not from my list is called The Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. And It has a really creepy cover, which looks awesome. And this book was freaking amazing. I was obsessed with it. I did not want to stop reading it. I just wanted to go back to it all the time, even at 3 a.m. when I was trying to sleep, and it was kind of giving me the creepy vibes. So
wait, you were scared?
I wasn't scared. I was creeped out. So The Nestlings is about a couple who wins an apartment building lottery, and they get an apartment in some fancy-ass building in Manhattan. It's kind of supposed to be like the Dakota building in Manhattan, which is this rich, swanky building. I don't know. Yes.
What was the author?
Nat Cassidy. Natcassidy.
You said it was The Nestlings?
The Nestlings. Oh, sorry. It's just Nestlings, not The Nestlings. I keep calling it The Nestlings. Okay, correction, everybody. Nestlings by Nat Cassidy.
It's 100% the book I pictured in my head, too. So I had it right.
Yes. Okay. So the couple wins a lottery in this fancy ass apartment building that they can't afford, but they get like a good rent price or something. And the reader knows pretty early on that something is not right with this apartment, because at the end of the first chapter, the realtor who shows them the apartment, as soon as they're gone, eats a cockroach and starts talking about how perfect it is that the couple has an almost 1-year-old baby. So we all just know this is not going to end well. I cannot talk about too much stuff in the book because it will give a lot away. It's a little bit of Riley Sager's Lock Every Door mixed with Rosemary's Baby and a few blurbs threw in Salem's Lot by Stephen King, but I've never read/seen that, so I don't really know how accurate that is, but I'm sure since so many people have mentioned it, it's probably accurate. Some things to keep in mind and kind of whet your appetite: Jewish mythology and folklore, grief horror, mom horror, gargoyles, faces at windows, 18 stories up, babies crawling on the ceiling. I mean, right away, that just gets me. Babies crawling on the ceiling. It is fantastic. You should read it. It's really propulsive and just, it's so good. You should read it. Nestlings by Nat Cassidy.
It's funny because I've been seeing their other book, Mary, I think is what it's called. Yeah, Mary,
yes.
All over the horror section at Barnes & Noble.
Yeah,
so.
I think that was the first, it was the first book. Nestlings came out in 2023. So there's a lot of post-COVID references in there. We can identify with a lot of things. It's, in the book, this couple is dealing with a shitload of problems. They just have had every bad thing thrown at them. And when I was reading the author's note, apparently the author had a really bad year too. And not exactly what happens in the book, but a lot of things inspired what happens in the book, kind of took it to another level. So it was very interesting to see the author's parallels with what goes on in the book and how that shaped his story.
I need to read this.
You do need to read it. It's really good. I think you'll really like it. It's definitely different and twisty and fun.
Oh, finally.
And weird. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Everything I've been reading has been utter shite, and like, I just feel like so many good ideas are getting thrown out, but none of them have follow through. Does this have a follow through?
Yeah. I like it. I gave it 5 stars.
Whoa!
I gave it 5 stars.
Like it. I'm not gonna like it.
And my next book I also gave 5 stars. This is from my spooky reading list for October. It is called We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer. I'm not sure how you spell.
Is that the one with the house cut?
Like disjointed, yeah.
Everyone's ranting about loving that one.
I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. So Marcus Kluwer is a debut novelist, and this is an amazing original horror story. It's based on a Reddit sensation, and apparently there's a Netflix movie coming out about it the next year or two. I think Blake Lively is going to be starring in it, so I am very excited to watch that. So in We Used to Live Here, a queer couple buys a house in the Pacific Northwest woods to renovate it, and one night their doorbell rings, and standing on their doorstep is this whole family. And the dad is like, oh, I used to live in this house growing up. Do you mind if we come in? I show my family around the house so they could see it, yada, yada, yada. And the woman who opens the door, she just gets a weird feeling, and she does not want to let them in. But she's like, I'm always a person who's too anxious, so I'm just going to let him in. Once this family gets in, weird things start happening immediately. They don't seem to want to leave the house. Things start shifting inside the house, like things are disappearing, reality distorts, doppelgangers start showing up. Just the shit just hits the fan, and the story goes to a place that I did not expect. It is eerie, it's suspenseful, it keeps you going, and I really just loved it. I thought it was another book that I just wanted to go back to all the time. I wanted to see what happened.
Well, not blurbs. It, what's when you say it's like this? Comps. Thank you. It comps Get Out and Parasite, which are 2 of my all-time favorite movies. So I am so
Did I see Get Out? Which one is that?
It's where the guy's dating the girl and he goes to see the family.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, I don't feel like it's all like Get Out.
Okay. Have you seen Parasite?
I have not.
Okay, you have homework. You need to watch Parasite. It is amazing.
Yeah.
I've watched it multiple times.
Really? Okay.
Yes,
no, I've never even heard of Parasite.
It won an Oscar, I think.
Really? Is it about a disease? Like a contagion?
Nope,
not
at all.
Okay.
It's essentially about this family down on their luck. They're in an Asian country. I don't remember which one.
Is it a subtitle movie?
Yes.
Okay, that doesn't bother me. I'm just wondering.
But essentially they're down their luck, and the son's friend has to go out of town or do something, and so he's like, will you take over my tutoring gig for this really rich family? And the guy's like, yeah, sure, I'll tutor the girl. And yeah, it's
okay.
So
I'm intrigued.
Amazing.
Yeah, this one definitely fucks with your mind. You're like, what is happening? What is real? What is not? Who is real? Am I real? Are you real? It's just a mind fuck, and I loved it. It was really, really good. I highly recommend it.
I feel like I picked all the wrong horror books for October.
I've had 3 5-star reads in a row. This has never ever happened, I feel like.
I hate you.
I know. And they weren't even all on my list. I just deviated from the list.
Though I did read Let Him In, and I gave it 3 stars.
Oh,
or
okay.
I only gave it 2. So I didn't hate it. I think I just liked the world a little bit more. Like I could sit in the world a little bit more probably than you enjoyed. But I probably agree with you about everything about that book.
Yeah. Okay. Are you gonna talk about that in your books?
I didn't plan on it.
Okay.
So I'll just do a quick thing of just.
Okay.
I think I liked the book because I liked that it was in that house in London across from the park, and so the whole time we were in the house, like, I could just sit in that house longer.
Yeah.
And I thought the little girls were fun. But
yeah, they were a little creepy to me, but
there was no payoff.
No, there wasn't. There really wasn't.
Though I had thoughts about it. About how, like, what if it's not the fantastical and it's all just real? Like, it's just grief.
Yeah.
And they're all fucked up.
Grief horror, man. It's sweeping the nation. And the other nations, apparently.
Well, I might have to read these books before I even get, before next October, so.
I think you have to. They're so good. Especially if the one that We Used to Live Here is going to be a movie. They should make a movie out of Nestlings, because I would watch that. I want to see that so badly come to life.
Hey! Okay. Alright, were you just doing 2 books, or you have some more? Ruin my life. Give me more books. Oh.
Nope, that's it.
Oh, thank you. Alright, well, I am at a total of 142 books for the year. I should be making 150. That is my goal.
Nice.
Now, since I finished Bleach, just to give you guys a quick update, my current graphic novel, manga, read, whatever, I'm reading Fables. It's not really my cup of tea. So I'm going to give it a little bit longer, but I might not read the whole series.
That's okay. You don't have to.
It's just not.
Not everything can be a winner.
Exactly. But I will be talking about 2 books today. The first being This Wretched Valley by Jennifer Kiefer. Now, I don't spoil books, but I feel like there are 2 really big things I need to say about this book just to warn readers in a way that I wish I was warned. Okay? First off, the dog is fine. You know I'll always say.
That's always good to know.
The dog is fine. That was really annoying the whole book. Okay. Because literally, you don't find out till the last word. The last sentence.
I hate that.
The dog is fine. 2, it's a slasher book. Which maybe I should have known that from the description. Maybe I should have understood this. But clearly I didn't.
What's the title again?
This Wretched Valley. Now, essentially what it is there is a PhD student trying to do his dissertation. So he is tracking undeveloped land to see any new cliff faces, and he discovers one, and he invites 3 of his friends to go with him to hike into the woods to find this cliff face. One of them is a rock climber, and she's really excited because this is her chance to finally ascend something that no one else has. And essentially, which this isn't a spoiler because it literally is the first page in the book, but essentially 6 months later, 3 of the bodies are found in very interesting ways. One with all of the skin missing from the body, one with its rib cage cracked perfectly open, another missing its tongue and stuff. So, I should have known when I cracked open this book that it was going to go in that direction, but I didn't. And I was very hooked at the beginning because I wanted to know why. Why were these people like this? And, I had theories. I had theories that I liked more than what happened. And it was just a bust. There were no character arcs. There's not great backstory. It was not in a believable fantasy sense. The suspense was The foreshadowing was and I wasn't scared. I haven't been scared yet.
Yeah. I think your threshold has just changed, like we've talked about before.
Honey, I read Let Him In and I wasn't scared.
That Let Him In wasn't that scary.
Yeah, but you told me not to read it.
Well, because it had the bed stuff that you don't like.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, because I think you're desensitized now. I think you're desensitized. I was just looking up the Wretched Valley stuff, and I still seen it said, is it a true story or based on a true story? And it looks like it was somewhat inspired by the tale of the Dyatlov Pass, which is I love that. I find that so fascinating, what happened to those students. Do you see parallels with that at all?
So I didn't know about the past until after I finished the book, because I believe that she has an author's note at the end, so then I looked it up. And in a way, no.
No, okay.
I mean, I think the only inspiration that is that they found bodies in very weird situations.
Okay,
and then, Da-da-da.
Yeah, not to sound like a literary agent, but somebody write me a good Dyatlov Pass book. Like, I would love to read that.
Like, I don't mind that it's a horror book, so yeah, I went to the fantastical, whereas, like, the Pass, I think they proved that it was an avalanche. So, this definitely went there, but, like, there was no reason behind any of the fantastical elements in the book. There was no explanation, there was nothing, and it made no sense, and I couldn't tell what was actually causing what was happening, if that makes sense, without giving anything away. And the dog just pissed me off. Why? Why do we have to have the dog?
Yeah, I don't think I want to read that if I have to. I mean, I'll know that he'll be okay, but I don't want to have to worry about it in the moment while I'm reading about the
Eventually,
dog.
the dog just, like, runs away from camp, and then we don't know anything about him.
See, and that's still really, really sad. I don't want to read that.
No, that's not.
Okay, no. Pass.
Now, the next book was better, but a little different. But it is Someone to Build a Nest In by John Wiswell.
Interesting.
And I will have to say that this book was extremely unique. In every way that I've said, the books I've read recently are horrible, no follow through, just blah, no originality. This book was completely different in every way. It is told from the perspective of the monster. And I have to say, what a unique monster he comes up with, because essentially it's a blob that has to suck in other skeletal parts and body parts to be able to have any sort of functionality outside of just being a blob. So it's very interesting, because for this thing to survive, in a way, it has to eat people. But then, are all monsters bad? As we have talked about here on the podcast before, the perspective of, are monsters really monsters, or are they just trying to live? Would a cow think we're monsters? Because for those that eat meat. So I really, really appreciate that. I thought that it was original, and like I said in The Monster, I thought that the romance was a lot of fun in it. There's great romance. There's some really fun plot twists, to the point that one of them I honestly didn't see coming, and where it's placed, it's so early in the story in a way that there's room for more plot twists, which was a lot of fun. And I just thought, especially if you want something that's atmospheric and kind of still in the monster realm, but you don't want to be scared, this is a great book for you to read, because it was very atmospheric. It was a lot of fun, but it wasn't scary, but you still got like the monsterness to it as well. And it just it posed a lot of great questions. It had a lot of interesting things, and it didn't end where I expected it to either. But once you read the ending and you go through all that, you realize that the book was about more than what you thought it was about as well, which I thought was a lot of fun. This is definitely a great full like character arc in the story as well, and it was fantastical and just fun and different and out there.
Okay, nice.
And a little gory. I will warn you, it gets a little gory. Okay. Some of the absorbing of body parts gets a little like,
that makes sense. I think that tracks. It can't be peaceful to absorb someone's spinal cord from them and into you. It just can't be.
It's interesting, if anyone's read Deadly Education, I got so many Deadly Education vibes in this monster. Yeah. There's a monster that feels so similar in Deadly Education. I was like, does he inspired? Did you look at that monster from that movie and go, what if this monster wasn't so bad? What would their life look like if they existed? Like, before the school was made. But yeah, so I definitely recommend that one. That's been the only good read I've had in the last, like, 5 books.
That's so sad. Oh my god, that's
I guess Vampire's Island North was good, but like, like you just shut up. I liked it.
It wasn't the horror novel you were hoping for.
No, that's the problem. I think that's why I still count it as being like,
yeah.
Though I did reach out to the person we know, I always talk about, and I was like, oh, I liked it, but it wasn't really a horror book, and they're like, no, it's a new genre, horror-mantasy, and I'm like,
oh my god, no, I refuse.
Please tell me we're not turning horror into romantasy. No. No.
I'm putting my foot down. We are not going to discuss horror-mantasy at all on our podcast because I am refusing to acknowledge its existence as a subgenre. No. No.
So yeah, that's it for me. Hopefully, I am reading a Darcy Coates book. I have never read anything of hers.
Okay.
I just know she's
like
very
Darcy
prolific.
Coates. She is. She's read a lot of books. I like her stuff. It can be a little hit or miss for me. But.
Okay. Well, I'm reading The Caro Haunt.
Okay. I liked that one.
Okay, good. So we shall see. I still have a few books to get through. I am behind on my October reading challenge. I have a few books left to get through. There's a couple that I'm still excited about. So let's just hope. Hope.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get through all my October reading suggestions because I deviated from my list. And I think I'm just going to do them next year because I'm getting ready now for just lighter books and then Christmas stuff. So
you didn't get to my demon book.
I didn't get to your demon book. I only got like 3 books on my actual list because
we're so bad.
I couldn't get them from the library, and then the other ones I was trying to get another way, and then I couldn't access one of my ARCs for one of them. So yeah, and then I found those books in the bookstore, and they looked so good, and I got them, and then that happened.
It's okay. We'll figure. Yeah,
but no regrets because the books were fantabulous. So. It was worth
now,
it.
we are taking the month of December off, so we will not have a content recap for November for you. But so if you're missing us and you need content, make sure to check out CJ's blog, A Well-Read Tart, where she's going to be posting reviews through the end of the year.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Through the end of the year, if you need stuff on there. And then I also check out the YouTube page for Dark Side of the Word because I do weekly book reviews on there that are just book reviews. That's it. Nothing else. You can see what I have on there. And I do go into more detail for like This Wretched Valley and Someone to Build a Nest in, as well as my other October books. So make sure to check that out. We are not gone entirely, just the podcast for a month.
Yeah.
All right, now are we ready for our digital content, our TV and movies and all that fun jazz?
Yes. So I have 3 series and 1 movie. Is that a series? Yes, 3 series and 1 movie to talk about.
Okay.
All right. So series. I watched Apples Never Fall, which is a family drama on Peacock. So it is based on the book by Leanne Moriarty, and it's about this tennis family. There's a mother and father who retire from their tennis club, and they have 4 children who are into tennis, have tried to go pro, didn't make it, and in some way have disappointed their parents in one way or another. And I DNF'd the book because I couldn't get into all the petty squabbling between the siblings, all the drama, the backstory, and there was this storyline about this random waif person who shows up on the parents' doorstep and is like, please help me, blah, blah, blah. And they take her in and she ends up like conning them or something. So I couldn't get into that. But I was kind of curious about the TV show because it's been getting so much attention. And also, interestingly, my book review... my DNF book review on the blog has actually been getting a ton of hits from Google searches. So I'm like, somebody's interested about Apples Never Fall. Let me see what the show is all about. I ended up loving the TV show, and I binged the whole thing. It is so much better than the book. Annette Bening is in it, and I love her. She plays the mom. I have loved her since she was in The American President, which I watched back in the 90s when it came out, when I was in middle school. So I'm a huge fan of her, of anything that she's in. Alison Brie is in it. Sam Neill from Jurassic Park is in it. And Jake Lacey, who is, I believe, in White Lotus season 2, is like the husband who's kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what made it different with the series versus the book is that in the series, the sibling tension wasn't nearly as petty as it came across in the book. You got into the dynamics of the family in a different way. And although the ending, I had looked up what the ending of the book was because I was really curious, and I was like, I don't want to read 200 pages to get to this. The ending, I think, for the series was pretty much what it is in the book, but the journey there didn't seem so arduous, so I didn't mind it. I like learning all the twists and turns. Some of it's kind of predictable, but other stuff was just kind of off the wall and random, so I liked it. There's lots of secrets that come out, as with every Leanne Moriarty book, like Big Little Lies and Husband's Secret. So if you didn't like the book, watch the series. I think it's much better than the book itself. If you like the book, also watch the series because I'm pretty sure it's very close to what actually happened in the book. So that was interesting. I was surprised. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. So the other series, or another series I'm watching, is Teacup, which is on Peacock. It started in October, and Kate and I had actually seen ads for this when we were both on our retreat together. And has this creepy supernatural / contagion-y vibes to it. You don't really know what's happening. In the first episode, you're like, is it ghosts? Is it a deadly disease? Is it demon possession? Is it something else? One of the things is that these people are kind of trapped in a house. They can't go past this man-made painted line on the grass. And once they do, of course somebody does because they don't believe they shouldn't go past it. They immediately, like, their lungs like break out of their body and their skin starts melting like acid's been thrown on them. They just combust. It's ridiculous. So the show gets a little gory. It's a little in your face. They definitely do close-ups on the gory part. So I was really interested in finding out what happened. But a few episodes later, I've kind of figured out what's happening a bit, and I'm a little less interested. It took a bit more of a sci-fi turn than I was expecting. I was hoping for something. Like I think you would like it. I don't know. It's not too different from other things out there. Like, I feel like I've seen this kind of show before, again with a sci-fi slant. So that's why I was hoping for something more supernatural in it. There's only 5 or 6 episodes. I think I've watched most of them, and they're already talking about the season finale, so it's not too much of a time commitment. I think they're only about a half hour each, so it's worth trying. See if you like it. The first few episodes are really, really good, and then from there you're just like, okay, all right, sure. Start off with a bang.
To remind me right now, I just want to tell you, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie is on Max.
What is it called?
I don't remember.
Well, how am I going to find it?
Do your next thing. I'm going to look it up.
Okay, the last show that I want to talk about is the rom-com on Netflix called Nobody Wants This with Adam Brody and Kristen Bell.
I want to see that.
No. People have been telling me I should watch this. It's great, one of the best shows they've seen in a while. I was not that impressed with it so far. The premise reminds me a little bit of the movie Keeping the Faith came out back in the 90s with Jenna Elfman and Ben Stiller and Edward Norton. I love that movie. So I love the whole premise of like this Jewish rabbi is trying to date somebody who's not Jewish, and a lot of hilarity ensues. Kristen Bell is an agnostic podcaster who talks about sex and relationships, and Adam Brody plays the rabbi who has just broken off his relationship with his almost fiance, and whose family all thinks they should still be getting married. Kristen Bell and Adam Brody meet at a party, and they're very mutually attracted to each other, but immediately they're like, oh my god, we have so many differences, we shouldn't do this. And then they share what I have to admit is an amazing on-screen kiss. Like, wow. Like, take notes, men. Take notes, because it is a fantastic kiss. And they decide they can't stay away from each other. That's maybe 2 or 3 episodes in. That's as far as I got, because I just wasn't sucked in. It can be funny, it can be a little witty, but it's just overall it's not doing it for me. And I don't really know why. I'm not sure.
It's okay, you don't need to waste your time. Maybe I'll finish it and can tell everyone.
Yeah, let me know what happens.
Worth
it. Yeah. I don't like Adam Brody. Like, I don't hate him, but he just doesn't do anything for me.
You weren't the whole, OC girly?
I did not watch the OC. I don't find him attractive. He's a little too scruffy for me. I want to just comb his hair, his beard a little bit. Maybe if he
plays
a little
the
more
biggest
kempt.
nerd.
Does he? I probably would like that better. But, yeah. Okay. Do you want to talk about series, or should I talk about my movie before we go to you?
You can talk about your movie, because I only have 2 movies.
Okay. So I'm throwing it back to a classic. The movie I watched recently is an Alfred Hitchcock movie called The Birds, which I have never seen before. Have you seen it?
Either. No, I need to see it.
I really liked it. It was really good.
Well, I hope you liked it. It's Alfred Hitchcock.
So I have never seen anything by Alfred Hitchcock before.
You haven't seen Psycho? Or no.
I am actually watching that right now. We're finishing it tonight.
Okay, 'cause that's the one, right?
That's the one, yeah.
Okay.
That's the one with like the stabbing in the shower and stuff.
Yes, okay.
We started watching that because we're trying to watch some like classic horror movies. So we started that, but we watched The Birds first. And interestingly, it starts like a rom-com. I'm not even kidding. We were like, are we watching the right movie? Because there's just this odd sort of meet-cute between the 2 people centered around birds. And then we see the female lead kind of sort of stalking the guy to like deliver a present of lovebirds to his house for his sister's birthday. It's a very weird premise, and it's very rom-com-y. And it is very interesting to see how movies are set up back then, because there's a lot more background, a lot more storytelling, and I'm there for it. I like it as long as it's interesting, and I did enjoy the setup. And then all of a sudden shit gets real, and we go quickly from rom-com to absolute horror story. The birds just start attacking from everywhere. They start amassing, they swoop down, they attack people, they attack children, they go through windows, they peck through doors, they swoop down chimneys. It is a full-on invasion, and it also seems organized somehow. And, you know, Hitchcock I always thought was known for not showing ickiness on screen, and there was a very surprising close-up of an ocular trauma that I did not expect. Yeah, I was staring right at it, because I'm like, oh, it's Hitchcock, they're not going to show it. Boom! Boom! It was there. Excellent graphics for back in the day, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense. So that whole, you know, king of keeping stuff off screen, not always true. Be warned. It was a little unsuspectingly gory.
Good to know, because if I want my partner to watch it, he needs to be prepared.
Yeah, you'll see it coming. There's a scene where like they find a guy in a house and he's clearly been pecked to death, and it just escalates from there. As they go up the body, look away. Just look away. It's only like a second, but still, you get real close. There's a ton of tension in the birds. I was really there for it. You know, the scariest thing is an unopened door. He really leans into that. He keeps things out of sight for the most part, like literally behind closed doors. There's moments where like she's outside a door debating if she should go in, and you're like, don't go in there, just don't do it. So I can see why he's a master of suspense. I was literally holding my breath for a lot of scenes like I would watching some kind of serial killer movie made in present day. And it was really good. I'm going to do a slight spoiler for the end. And my favorite part is actually the ending, because it's left very open-ended. We learn that the attacks are spreading all over, and we don't find out, though, why the birds are attacking. It's never answered. You never find out. I love that. I love that. It makes it so much creepier. The unknown. I love that. It was so good.
It's such a letdown right now after all the books I've read, where nothing is explained.
But it's... I know, sometimes it bothers me, and this one, like, the movie ended, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This is where it ends. We don't find out anything else. And I'm like, Alfred Hitchcock, you son of a bitch, you just left us hanging. And I'm like, you know what? I would have done the same damn thing. It's brilliant. I can't even be that mad at you. It's fucking brilliant.
That's funny.
So I applaud it. Watch The Birds. I can see why he's a classic. I'm loving Psycho so far. So I think I'm going to go on a kick of watching classic Hitchcock movies, because they're really good compared to just the, you know, jump scares a mile a minute these days. I'm not into that, you know?
I know.
I want a story. I want a good story, and he's delivering a good story.
I'm so over it, which will be totally shown when I talk about my movies.
Yeah, all right. Tell us.
Before I do that, though, the movie is Trap. M. Night Shyamalan movie. So.
Thank you.
Well, watch it so we can discuss, because my partner refuses to watch it. He's over him.
Oh, do you want to come over and watch with me?
Yes, I do want to.
We should do an Amazon watch party.
We can.
We should do that. Is it on HBO, though, only?
Yeah.
So then we can't.
So. Maybe it's a watch party on Max. I'll look it.
Okay, maybe we'll just be like, 1, 2, 3, press play, and see what happens.
Well, for me, just to update everyone, I am on season 6 of Grimm, which is the last season, so I will definitely be finishing it very soon. I'm kind of excited because I'm a little... Like, I like it. I'm not ready for it to be over, but I'm also just like, I'm ready for something new. So I'm excited. It's gotten very interesting. There's a lot of lore going on. I'm curious to see where they take it. And I'm also curious to see how they wrap it up, because there's a lot of loose ends still, so...
If you're tired after 6 seasons of Grimm, there's no way you're going to make it through like the 25 billion seasons of Supernatural.
I would need to start it to even get anywhere, okay? That's true. But I have 2 movies I want to talk about. The first one is No One Will Save You on Hulu. I was really excited to watch this one because, CJ, don't watch it. It's about aliens.
Oh, God, no. Okay.
So don't watch it. But also, I gave up on this movie 40 minutes in.
Really? Wow, that bad.
Well, first off, there was no dialogue yet.
At all?
At all.
Wow. Bold move.
And partly I was very impressed by.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of emotions and storytelling that was able to be done without any dialogue was quite impressive, but it also just became, like, too much. Like, you're also now watching the movie, like, when are they going to say something? Instead of watching the movie.
How long can we go? Yeah.
And then it made it feel that the protagonist's facial expressions and acting was starting to get a little overdone because, you know, she was having to portray so much without saying anything. And also, we pretty much quit the movie when we realized the entire movie was just going to essentially become like a chase movie. Of like, let me hide and chase and run away from the monster. Like, I'm not here for that. I wanted real scary. I also expected this to be a lot scarier than it was, especially by the trailers, and that's what I was here for. And it wasn't anywhere close. It essentially, to me, was turning into Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh, okay. Been there, done that.
Exactly. And yeah, like the one alien encounter that I did get to was a little, but I don't know. I wasn't here for it. Maybe I'm desensitized, but I had a very limited window to watch movies, and I was like, this is not what I'm in the mood for, and we're just going to need to, like...
Yeah,
I also just felt that they were throwing so much into the backstory into the movie. Again, throwing in a lot of backstory with no talking. But a lot of backstory into the movie without needing, because it was pointless. But, like, here's an example of them not talking is... The protagonist has some sort of disagreement with this family in town, and she goes to the police station to report the event that's happening, and she like comes face to face with this police officer, and it's the police officers and the family that she's having issues with, and so he like stops, and you just have this look, and then the wife comes up, and then the wife like spits at her, and that's it. That's like the encounter, so you can know that like things aren't good without dialogue, but it just like it just fell over them.
I'm just saying that episode of Buffy, Hush, did no dialogue brilliantly, and people should take their cue from that.
But again, that was only like 45 minutes and not like...
It was only even like 18. But still, well done. 18 minutes.
Exactly. So I just don't try it. It's just not worth it. There's probably a reason no one's been talking about it, and I just found it in some weird corner of the web where I was just like, yes, this is what I want to watch, and...
I've heard of it, actually. I've heard people talking about it. Or maybe it was just you. I don't know.
It was just me.
So
from that same night, we went from that to not a classic, but to an old movie that I've had on my list for forever, and I finally got around to watching it.
What?
And I've been sleeping on this fucking movie for way too long, okay?
Okay.
But it was Dr. Sleep.
What is Dr. Sleep?
Dr. Sleep is the sequel to The Shining.
Okay. What do we think?
Have you seen The Shining?
Most of it. I did not like it. I find it very boring.
Really?
Yeah.
The Shining is like one of my favorite horror movies ever.
Really?
Yes. To the point that I also got dragged up to see in Oregon the inn that they actually used for the exterior on Mount Hood. Yeah. That was an interesting adventure. You know, 4 Floridians driving up a mountain and it starts snowing and you know, we don't know how to drive in the snow and we're freaking out. Yeah, but I saw it for like 2 seconds.
Amazing you're here.
Well, I saw it for 2 seconds, then we turned quickly around because we were here. But yeah, so I've been there. But yeah, Dr. Sleep is the sequel. Now, I would say that you need to watch The Shining before you watch Dr. Sleep because there's a lot of references to Dr. Sleep or to The Shining. However, Dr. Sleep is a very, very different movie from The Shining. So different. Where I felt The Shining was a psychological movie because you know we question whether or not this is in his head, is he losing, is he going crazy, versus like the fantastical of like actual spirits and ghosts and all this. Well, Dr. Sleep kind of like rips the curtain away and all that and just tells you like, yeah, it's all fantastical, like
nice,
this is all here.
I might like that better.
I appreciate it because it starts right after The Shining ends, pretty much. We get a little, like, moment of what their life looked like after surviving all of that, and then we jump to when the little boy is older. And I know it's probably not the greatest movie that's ever made, and I'm pretty sure a lot of, like, real The Shining, like, diehard fans would be pissed off, but I was so here for that movie that night. I was obsessed. I was for the aesthetic. I loved the fantastical elements. I really appreciated that though it tried to be kind of scary and gory and out there was kind of a whimsy to it, and It reminded me a lot of Kingfisher in the sense where it's like we have a horror movie, but we have like these whimsical elements to it to make it just fun, and like the monsters in it were just, how do I explain it? They were just these whimsical characters that you kind of also fell in love with in a weird way of just being like, oh my gosh, like the magical elements.
I fell in love with nothing in Kingfisher's novels.
Well, I mean, not like you fell in love.
It scared the shit out of me.
Well, nothing about this movie is scary. I'm gonna tell you. Like,
okay. It's not a horror movie?
No, it's just dark and
dark fantasy, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Way more. Which, when I saw the previews for Doctor Sleep, I thought it was gonna be a lot scarier than The Shining. Because I mean, I'm still fucked up from that movie.
I found nothing scary at all about The Shining.
Okay. Well, the other movie, the two-letter named movie, I'm still traumatized from that. Shh. We don't say that. Yes. I'm still very traumatized with that. So when I saw Dr. Sleep's trailer, I thought we were going to go that way with it. Where Shining doesn't scare me at all. Like, I love The Shining. But no. If anything, The Shining is scarier than Dr. Sleep. But I just, and then there's this little girl, like, because they really delve into the son's powers that you see in The Shining. And so he is having them, and then you see this other little girl coming up with her powers, and it was just so good. I loved it, and I was so here for it that night, and I just sat there. It's a really long movie too. It's like 2.5 hours.
Oh wow!
And I had already watched like half of another movie, but I was there for it. I was 100%, and I really want the lead monster's hair. I want her hair so bad.
Well, it's good that you found a movie that you like, because you've been like just striking out on all the books. So yay!
And movies, because like Beetlejuice sucked,
that's true.
And then I feel like we just haven't had any good movies lately.
The Birds was a highlight for me. Definitely.
I'm gonna have to watch this now.
Yeah. Just prepare yourself for the rom-com beginning. That takes quite a while. We're talking a good at least 40 minutes of rom-com-esque adventures. It's pretty hilarious.
That's what makes it so amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
So yeah. And then I'll probably like hold off on, I gotta hold off on the horror movies soon, because it's all the Hallmarky rom-coms coming up, the Christmas rom-coms. Like, have you seen the trailer for the new Netflix holiday movie with Lindsay Lohan? Because yes, I am here for that cheesy, corny, yes.
I cannot do those ones anymore. We watch the Muppet Christmas Carol and Miracle on 34th Street. We have a whole slew of movies that we watch every year at Christmas, and every now and then Spirited with Ryan Reynolds and the other guy. Remember, that was so good last year. That's what we watch. But I can't do the Christmas rom-coms anymore, because they're just too irritating to me.
Now, I have to watch the Grinch, the Jim Carrey Grinch, every time I decorate. That's like tradition. You put that on. Okay. I have to do that. Now, if you do want some not so bad, Holiday is actually really good on Netflix. Holiday is a lot of fun. It's not Hallmarky. Like, it's a step above. And then I really liked Love Hard also on Netflix. It's more of a love story, and it's above like Hallmarky.
Okay.
It's a step above. Those two are well written, and I actually really, really enjoyed them.
Okay.
So if you need something. And then also, the creme de la creme for us, because we save it all for December, is Great British Baking Show. We watch the whole thing in December. It's our tradition. I'm so excited.
I've been watching this season. I am loving it. It's just the best thing about Friday nights right now, that a new episode comes out on Netflix. So
see, I save it all for December.
You're in for a treat, my friend.
That intro is holiday music to me.
It's the best thing. I sing it every time.
But I'm gonna break everyone's heart, and I realized like a week ago that I actually never finished last season. I have one episode.
Oh my god.
We weren't up for it. We're like, no, let's just put it off, and then we forgot about it.
That's happened to me too. Yep.
I don't know who won last season still.
I never remember who wins. Ever. Yeah. I'm so bad.
The only one I remember is Peter, because I follow him on Instagram, and he's just adorable and cute and sweet, and he graduated college, and so, yeah.
I don't even remember who that is. The
He's the
only
one
one
that
I
did a lot
know.
of gluten-free bakes from Scotland because he was in college during the show and he did gluten-free bakes because his brother had like
Okay.
celiac or whatever and he's from
I
Scotland.
remember hearing about him.
I almost, when I went to Scotland, I looked for his book because I knew that he was going to be gluten-free in it. I didn't end up buying it. I did find it, but I was very determined to find it because I wanted to get the gluten-free things until I realized that it was just like, use gluten-free flour instead. And I'm like, I already do that.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Yeah. The only one that I really remember, not a winner, but just a contestant, is Manon, because she's French, but she married a UK guy, so she was able to compete. And she has 2 cookbooks now, and I love her. And I love listening to her talk because her accent's just gorgeous. And I follow her on Instagram, and I got her baking book after I went to Paris, and I want to get her cookbook, like, you know, with like savory recipes.
Yeah.
Because I want to do a lot of that too. I just love her. She has really great, simple recipes.
Oh, I love it. Well, I think that's it for me. Is that it for you?
Yeah, that's it for me.
All right. Only 2 more episodes left for season 2. And don't forget, one of those episodes is book club, so make sure to join us. We are reading Last to Leave the Room by Caitlin Sterling. We have our bookshop links below if you still need to get a copy. We get a small kickback at no extra cost to you, and it helps us to put on amazing content. But thank you so much, friends, for listening to Dark Side of Work, a weekly podcast for all the dark creative story lovers and artists out there. If you are watching this as a video and you liked it, please make sure to give the video a thumbs up and to subscribe so you don't miss any content. We are also audio only on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeart Radio. Thank you so much, friends. We hope you have a beautiful, magical, creative journey. Bye.
Bye.
Yay! We did